Because you know that this is the thing I noticed is that a lot of these media guys, they don't smile. They just look absolutely miserable.
Hold on, are you saying that independent of the things that I've said before? Like, no, seriously, is that your observation?
No, just sitting there at the.
Well, this is
my first draft that I've been to, but just sitting there and looking at everybody else, just like the bloggers look like really happy to be there. Now I know it's probably because most of them were like me; it's their first time here and all that. But for some of these guys, they just looked absolutely miserable.
I went to a conference. Well, they're all hungover. I went to a conference. I went to a conference in New York called Blogs with Balls.
Yeah,
it was a big internet thing. It was killer fun. It was a really good time. And I made that same observation about being in the press box and seeing these guys look like they're in a mortuary.
Some of these media guys look like they would have rather been anywhere else, but maybe they're blasé that they've been to so many of these and they knew what to expect. I don't know, but
see, you can't say blasé without me doing a Titanic reference. Billy Zane and Titanic. You can be blasé about some things, Rose, but not about Titanic.
Yes,
what he said.
Yes, but you see, I'm Canadian. I can say blasé in a French accent.
But your point is taken because I made the same point at the conference, and I took flack for it. I said they all look like they are bored. And the flack I took from this Dan Steinberg from the Washington Post was that, well, it's their job. Like, they're doing their job, and their job stinks. I'm like, well, you don't understand. If you take that level of enthusiasm into the press box, if you don't, like, react when somebody scores a goal, to me it's like that lack of enthusiasm translates into the product.
Exactly. I mean, and there's a certain but there's a certain cynicism to it.
I agree.
And sort of cynicism, the world weariness, but it just. I don't know. It just doesn't really translate.
And Steinberg was like, well, you'll get jaded one day. I'm like, I might get jaded, but if I do, I'm not going to let it translate into the work. And I think the problem that a lot of people have with mainstream media right now is that it feels perfunctory. It feels like it's paint by numbers, and there's no passion there. And listen. I don't know if I'm revealing any big secrets here.
I don't think you
We're all entertainment writers.
Right.
Yes.
We are all just entertainment writers. That's all we're doing.
Listen, sports is just entertainment, period, anyway. It's not a different category. It's a part of entertainment.
Yeah, if you don't find a way to make that compelling, I mean, and make it speak to what fans are talking about, which I think is what blogs have done, is that they've connected mainstream guys with what we're all talking about in a hotel room drinking gin.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Except we now have microphones in front of us.
Right, exactly. So I think what you said is completely right. I've been in enough press boxes and I'm stunned that there isn't more like jabbing the guy next to you with an elbow and being like, "Can you believe he got laid out like that?" You know, that kind of thing.
Well, let me just put it to you this way. I mean, this is something that I've been wanting to do almost my whole life. Okay? I mean, you know, when I knew I was not going to become a professional hockey player, like all of us reached that reality at one point or another. But seriously, though. But I mean, you know, so I go on and I have my, I go on to another career and things like that. But I mean, I always was interested by, writers like Red Fisher, the Montreal Gazette, guys like, okay, I'm dating myself here, but he's done this stuff for a long time, but a terrific sports writer. Some of these classic sports writers. And I was really interested in doing that. And now, here I am, I have this opportunity. I consider myself so fortunate to have this opportunity to kind of live this dream. And I look around and I see these guys, a lot of these guys I've been reading for years, and some of them I've really admired their work and things like that. And it's like I said, they look like they're sitting they'd rather be sitting in a dentist chair than being here. And it's like, come on,
that's the big thing with us, is that when the Caps were shit, we actually got press passes, and we would go to the games, and we would use the press passes, and we'd be like the only fans, quote unquote, that were up there. It would be like there were people that were doing their job, and I guess if that was my job, at some point maybe you get old, but it's.
I think as a human you get old. I mean,
that's the point. It gets old. Sorry.
Age, Benjamin.
Well, I'm going backwards. So
you're gonna get taller. But we're taller.
I was 6'5" at 250 in college.
Boy, they wore you down with nothing.
But I almost feel like that people just come to report, and then there were people that were there, like, when we showed up, to actually, like, be fans of the game and tell people what we thought.
And that's the thing, is that you look down upon, too. It's just, it's something where if you do something where you, like, say, like that, like, oh, look at that hit, look at that pass, they look down on you and they jade you by proxy. They're just
because they are not allowed to be fans.
Exactly.
And they think that you being enthusiastic about what you're watching is you being a fan. Which is not. You're being a fan of hockey.
Right,
exactly. Not necessarily being a cheerleader for the team.
And listen, I know that there's not a lot of love in this room for Pierre McGuire, but you know what? But listen, honestly, Monster, and everybody takes a drink. One moment. Okay.
She said tavern. I'm going to Moe's.
Folks, it always comes back to the Simpsons.
Yes.
But what was I saying now?
It was about Pierre McGuire.
You're about to fillet Pierre McGuire.
Yes, fillet Pierre McGuire. I know that there's no love in this room for Pierre McGuire, but you got to give it up to the guy, man. When he sees a big hit or a wonderful scoring play, I mean, he gets excited. That really comes through whenever you're watching the game. Okay, that explains everything. Okay, but I mean, he is really. You can tell that he's there to analyze the game, but he's a fan. You can tell that he's a fan. That he loves the game. He loves the action that you're seeing out there.
And sometimes
I mean, if he can do it. And I'm not saying that everybody's got to follow that thing, because I agree with all of you. The monster thing has got to go.
Broadcasters are different because they have to be.
All right, well, fair enough.
Like Emmerich. Like Emmerich is uber enthusiastic.
But can't you, if you're writing though? But if you're writing, would it kill you? But would it kill you though?
As a Devil fan, I know people don't dig Emmerich, like a lot of people don't, but man, I can listen to that guy. It's that sing-song narrative that he has during the game. It's like, and then Niedermeyer passes up to Getzlaf across the line.
And you also have Gary Thorne there that has Thorgasms like every time. Like somebody crosses the blue line, he's like, and the pass, out of the zone!
Curl has the mic and she wants to speak on this.
I had a point and I don't remember what it was. Backtracking like 4.5
Was it about McGuire?
Y'all were speeching.
Oh,
no, it was before that. But like that's the breakdown of difference. Like the bloggers care so much, we do this shit for free. Like
we don't keep you without a drink.
Everyone knows about the Chiefs. Well, not everyone, but.
And that's the thing you want to do is you want to be excited about it so you can actually expand to other people and get your feeling towards other people. That's
and then like I have commenters who are like, well, this is how I see the game. Like I got sick of seeing typos in the newspaper of like it didn't have the whole entire game, and I'm like, I don't really care.
And it almost seems like the read-ups of some of these things, just the lack of passion is. You could have had a monkey writing this whole thing and be.
And that goes back to what you were saying before about print and the problem that they're having with that is like perhaps if they actually injected maybe a little bit more passion into it. I know there's this thing about you got to be unbiased and this,
but there's no such thing as unbiased journalism.
But
there isn't.
That's the great.
Yeah, because at the same time, like you look at like the press here in Montreal. I mean, there is no doubt where their allegiances lie. And some of these folks are very passionate players they like and who they want to see.
There was a writer named Jeff Krellman from Sports Illustrated, who's also an author, who torched me a little bit at that Blogs with Balls conference because he said that, he doesn't root. And I really believe that that's true as far as maybe teams go, but it ain't true as far as stories go. There ain't a person on earth that wanted that didn't live 20 minutes outside of Raleigh that wanted the Carolina Hurricanes instead of Sidney Crosby in the Stanley Cup Final.
Oh, sure.
No, come on. Everybody was rooting for that. Everybody was rooting for that series to go 7. Yeah. I mean, you root for stories if you're a writer, and that's where your rooting interest is you're rooting for the best story.
And that's also, if you want to be like a credentialed blogger, going back to way before, is that there's only so many times you can re-say the one thing where you have to set yourself apart. Where you got to go, okay, I have to create something that's going to catch somebody else's eye about this story, and it goes back to where you have to create it, and then it goes to content, quality, and stuff like that.
Well, speaking of re-saying things as a blogger,
yes.
I found it funny. I read Japers Rink. You guys hosted the draft party together.
Love JP.
JP's a good guy. But there was one post that he had about a week ago that literally every other word was a link to something else that he wrote. Like either a year ago or 6 months ago. It was like, at what point is every word going to be a link to something else that he said?
He's proud of his work.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
And he owns the award, so I think that works out too.
I might have a dog in this fight if I didn't write the 10 biggest blog stories of the year and linked to my shit.
Which I did enjoy that, by the way.
Hey, it was an interesting piece. I mean, like,
absolutely.
Hey, listen. Bottom line is, I completely forgot about hockey scores the kid who did the song for Hockey
Yeah, the
Night Canada,
CBC one, yeah.
where the
The
cats
cat
were meowing
noises.
and there were gunshots. I completely forgot about that.
That's
I'm
a fun
like,
night in the ghetto.
yeah, I'm like, there's absolutely no reason not to write this post,
Right.
just to recall how genius that was.